Indian Space Research Organization has unveiled its grand vision for the future of space exploration, announcing plans to launch India's maiden international space station by 2028. S Somnath, the chairman of ISRO, has disclosed this groundbreaking initiative during an event held in Ahmedabad. In a proud proclamation, Somnath affirmed that India is poised to establish its very own Bharat space station during the Amrit Kal. Apart from this, the ISRO chief also announced that the Gaganyaan 1 point insertion of Aditya L-1 mission will take place on the 6th of January 2024. As India's space exploration endeavour gains steam, the organisation is also aiming to set up a second spaceport in Tamil Nadu. Apart from this, collaborations with NASA and JAXA are rife, as seen by the NISAR project and Chandrayaan 4 and LUPEX rover undertaking. Well, additionally, private players are also foraying into India's space sector, and a private space force is in the works. All of this prompts us then to ask whether India is all set to be a global space power by 2030. Let's take a quick look at ISRO's big upcoming projects and the big updates as well, which are coming in regarding that. These are the grand plans for ISRO for the new year, for 2024 and beyond. So a space station by 2028 is ISRO's big plan. India aiming, of course, to establish its very own space station during the Amrit Kal. This is something that the ISRO chief has confirmed. The ISRO chief, S Somnath, has stated that by 2028 we will launch the first module as well. Well, India clearly eyeing building further modules by making them fully operational by 2035 as well. ISRO is, of course, developing a launch vehicle to carry heavier loads to space. This is something that, of course, ISRO is planning very, very seriously. Gaganyaan 1 point insertion of Aditya L-1 will take place on the 6th of January 2024. Is something that they have confirmed. And ISRO, of course, also sharing that the time for Gaganyaan 1 point insertion is yet to be decided. This, of course, pertaining to that big ambitious Aditya L-1 mission. Now, if we talk about Gaganyaan, well, for the Gaganyaan mission, several countries refused to share their ECLSS research and technology, and now ISRO has decided to independently develop the environmental control and life support system. Well, now updates also coming in regarding the Chandrayaan 4. The Chandrayaan 4 mission aims to bring back soil samples from the moon as well. ISRO is collaborating for this with JAXA's Lunar Polar Exploration Project. This is a very ambitious task force that ISRO is setting out to achieve. JAXA, meanwhile, has developed slim payload, will use a spectroscopic camera to observe surrounding rocks in the area it lands as well. Now, they've also talked about a second spaceport in Tamil Nadu. ISRO planning to develop a full launch center in the Thoothukudi district of Tamil Nadu. 2,000 acres have been acquired and handed over to ISRO for developing this project. Well, there's also a project team in place for this. A budget also has now been defined, and planning has also been done for this new site. Well, this project reportedly is slated to take off in about 2 years from now. And now let's also tell you about a joint mission that is being planned. So a NASA-ISRO SAR mission is being looked at. This is going to be a joint Earth observing mission between NASA and the Indian Space Research Organization. NISAR will be the first radar of its kind in space to systematically map the Earth. NASA and ISRO are providing two radars that are optimized each in their own way. And Chandrayaan 1, that's another ambitious mission of ISRO. It's called the Venus Orbiter mission. Chandrayaan 1 mission is, of course, also in the works. The ISRO chief has informed that payloads are in development phase. So these, of course, are the ambitious plans of ISRO, which they're hoping will take off in the new year and, of course, beyond, as I told you earlier. Let's also quickly get in our guests for their comment on this. Dr. S.R. Chakravarti, IITM Agnikul advisor, is joining us live. Abhinav Srivastav, lead strategy for Bellatrix Aerospace, is with us. Suresh Nayak, space scientist, ISRO, joins us live. Group Captain V.N. Jha, former Joint Director, DRDO, is also joining us now. on the broadcast. Welcome to all of you and thank you for being with us. Let me begin with you first, Dr. Chakravarti. Ambitious plans, which are you most excited for, and what do they really tell us about the current Indian space scene?
Well, surprisingly, among all the things that you listed, there was one thing that was missing. I think there was this ambitious plan of putting a human being on the moon by 2040, which is well within the Amrit Kal. So I was actually looking forward to that. That would probably be the what should I say? The capping achievement, that if we can do that.
Yeah. No, I spoke briefly about the Gaganyaan, but yes, obviously it's going to take a bit of time, I believe, because we're going to be getting the technology by ourselves. There are some countries who are a bit hesitant to share it. Okay, but you're talking about you're talking about the human mission as well. Yeah. To the moon, yes, to the moon. Right.
Yeah, they're sending a human mission, but that's actually just around the Earth.
Yeah.
Next, actually
send a human to moon. Okay, that's something you're excited for.
Space station, but then you actually have to send humans to the moon, right? So these are the 3 steps, I would say. The space station definitely is actually a huge big ticket item because it allows us to spend extended periods of time in zero gravity environments to understand how that works for deep space missions of human beings further out. And also to actually start looking at lots of space-based manufacturing that's gaining a lot of traction today when compared to what it used to be before. So it has significant economic value as we can modularly, in a modular manner, actually grow the space station and start looking at maybe kind of like setting up factories in space. I think that's what this will actually pave the way for.
Okay, let me bring in Abhinav Srivastav as well then. Abhinav, what about you? What are you keenly awaiting for? Which of these missions, Abhinav? What are you most excited to see kick off?
Sorry. Thanks for having me here, first of all. I think one of the things that I'm super excited about in terms of the kind of floodgates that I think it will open up is something that Professor Satya already spoke about, which is, having what we call orbital outposts, or, this different segment of the space industry, which is called on-orbit servicing, manufacturing, and assembly. I feel like having the kind of presence that a space station brings it's probably incomparable, because if you look at what NASA has been able to do in conjunction with its different private players, it's been remarkable, because there are around 50 odd companies that partner with NASA on the ISS to test out things in microgravity, not just on how it impacts humans, but even for microbiology or R&D efforts. And I think the second aspect that I think I am super excited about, but I feel it would take at least like 10-20 years, is to see if the Indian space station morphs into something of the sort that we're seeing in the US, where the ISS is being slowly about to be phased off, with commercial entities supposed to bridge that gap and put in commercial space stations. So those are the 2 things that I am very stoked about, but that's also primarily because I'm someone on the commercial side and not entirely on the R&D aspect.
Yes. Okay, Suresh Naik, come in here on what you are most excited for. What do you believe is the most ambitious plan? What are you keenly awaiting to kick off? Suresh Naik, can you hear me?
I'll remove this. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Space station is definitely an extremely ambitious project for ISRO, both in terms of technology development and as well as space exploration efforts. And there are many steps ISRO will have to go through before we really start and achieve success in that project. Now, for example, first I think we have to have Gaganyaan up there, and that will give us a lot of experience about having a crewed flight. So we would have developed many technologies like life support systems and the emergency rescue systems and so on, which are very essential for any crewed missions. And then another technology we need to develop is a next generation launch vehicle, NGLV. because present generation maximum load capacity vehicle is LVM-3, and that can lift the loads up to 5 tons in the low Earth orbit. Whereas if you want to carry more loads in the low Earth orbit up to of the order of 20 tons, actually ISRO is already doing a lot of work on NGLV, that is next generation launch vehicle, which can carry about 20 tons to the low Earth orbit and 10 tons to the geostationary orbit. And at the same time, immediate requirement is a space docking experiment, SPAD-X it is called. Already budget has been sanctioned. ISRO is really doing work on that, and that consists of launching two separate satellites. One will be called as the target satellite, another will be called as the chaser satellite. The chaser satellite will catch up with the target satellite and dock with it. And this docking technology is an extremely important step in the process of building space station, because we may also require to send module by module, as it was already mentioned. By 28 we are going to send the first module, so there will be, I think, quite a few modules to be sent up in the space, and they have to be docked. So docking technology is really a breakthrough technology which ISRO hasn't got yet proven, and that is another thing. So all these technologies have been developed. For Gaganyaan itself, so many new technologies have been developed. For example, we have already developed the in-flight rescue system of the crew. Now we have to again test the pad abort rescue system. Then actually we are going to do the integrated airdrop test from the helicopter, and that I think will more or less complete our Gaganyaan preparations, and then two Gaganyaan test flights without human being inside. And once they are successful, the Gaganyaan 3 will be the real one with the crew members. So we have to go through so many steps. ISRO is very particular that we had to give maximum priority for the safety of the astronauts, and they don't want to hurry up in that. But even then, ISRO is working so fast, and by 2025, Gaganyaan 3, that is the real one, is expected to be up in the space. And then already, as you have mentioned, 2028, the first module of the space station is going to go there. As already has been explained, the space station is going to be a big step in the field of space exploration, because that will give us not only the experience of conducting experiments in zero G gravity environment, but also how to live in this kind of a zero-G environment. So tomorrow, when we really want to go the lunar establishment colony of the human being, then that experience also will be extremely useful. So in all respects, if you consider this is a very crucial step in the Indian space exploration field, and we are sure that, having seen ISRO's methodology of working, they will definitely succeed in this ambitious project.
All right. Let me, in fact, bring in Group Captain V.N. Jha as well quickly for his opening comments on Group Captain Jha, what you are keenly awaiting, what you believe will be the most ambitious plan, what you are excited to see take off and come into fruition. Group Captain Jha, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yes, we can hear you now.
Well, just for sake of laying the importance of the technology that is involved in this space station, let me repeat what Mr. Nayak had said, that it is an ambitious program, and more so, an ambitious timelines that we are got. I had written a book called Design Concepts in Human Space Mission. This book was written almost nearly 3.5 years back. And it only lays down the emphasis onto the concepts. There are numerous technologies that is involved in this. And when we are thinking of having a space station which will be inhabited by our own astronauts, cosmonauts, then several things comes up in the picture. The least of the modules and units will be the habitat with airlock, command, control, and communication module, service section, supplement section, emergency disembark, and all with standby or redundancy. That's absolutely, the bottom line, that everything that we have up there in the air must have the redundancy built in. Habitats can be anything, from 2 to 6 crew, it could be there. It has to have, it will be much bigger than the crew model that we are sending for Gaganyaan. This habitat must have the dining section, toilet with some amount of, privacy, laundry, restroom, recreation, sleep. Sleep in the space is a very difficult task. You must have a section where the person can be strapped onto his so-called bed so that he doesn't float around here and there. So everything is very specialized. Command, control, and communication center will have all computers without any backup, from the ground. It has to have its own backup, own redundancy, power bank, remote access, other sections. Service sections runs all the functions. There has to be a supplement of all consumables. Atmospheric pressure has to be maintained there inside the module, inside the station, which should be near the atmospheric pressure, atmospheric pressure that we have here on the ground. Along with that, oxygen supply, water, food, EC and LSS, Mr. Nayak had just pointed the life support. It is not only life support, it is integrated with the environmental control. So in the environmental control and life support system, we have something which is automated. That means every breath that we take the requisite amount of oxygen and we leave the breath. The carbon dioxide and water vapor also goes out. That has to be removed from the cabin environment. So it's a very composite technology that keeps on happening. And other than that, the replacement of all the consumables, additional docking port with the redundancy that has to be there, because every time that we send the supply from here, it has to embark with the space station, and then it has to everything has to be ported there. So expected mass that we see right now for a small space station, something about 80 to 100 tons of the payloads will have to be taken up there. And as right now we have the heaviest vehicle, which is GSLV Mark III or LVM that we call it. It can carry up to about 8 tons of the things into the low Earth orbit, but that is too small. We need some launch vehicles of the caliber of that US has got, China has got, Russia has got, something which can take anything from 15 to 25 tons. So such amount of load has to be taken repeatedly in order to build that 80 to 100 tons of the space station that will have. There will be enormous requirement of power, for which solar panels have to be taken, and that too with the redundancy. If one is knocked out, other will have to take care of it. So it's a fairly robust program, robust technology, and very concerted effort. I am again repeating what I said in the beginning. It is ambitious program to send the unit early in the in the program that he has, 2028. It seems to be fairly ambitious. It may take a little longer time, but then there are two ways of achieving it. One, that we build on to the Gaganyaan technology and have it there. But there is one more thing that we must think of. I mean, if the planners in India can use their wisdom in exploring with Russians, with Japanese. Russians and Japanese module in ISS, International Space Station, are relatively new. They have not done away with their life expectancy, and they are apparently, as we understand, is in a new form. If those modules can be acquired, can be transferred, it is not transferring here on the road or something. There is a technology involved in that. If that can be restored for the Indian part of it also, with some of the solar panels, which is very high technology solar panels. If those two things can be taken up from the space station that is there right now, it will be far easier and simpler task for the subsequent integration to happen. Of course, there is an element of adapting to those ports, those sections, those every measurements that are there for the ports. Everything will have to be rebuilt as per those programs. But then that's one step Indian government can explore with the Russians and the Japanese, whether their model can be used with our program. So wish ISRO all the best. If Mr. Somnath has got such ambitious, at least ambitious thought process, we must say that, okay, wish you all the best. But it is a little bit of ambitious. It is a very far-paced program. It has to be built up. Everything will have to be built up with the all support system here on the ground. Should there be a need of an emergency there, immediately we should be able to send another craft from here. We should dock within a short time and resolve those issues. If those people up in the air will have to leave in emergency condition, there must be an emergency disembarkation port which should bring them back to the earth safely. So many things are there than that simply someone can think of. It's a huge challenge, but of course achievable. India is master in achieving different difficult tasks. Uday.
All right, let me in fact take that back across to Suresh Naik. Suresh Naik, also what do these plans tell us about the current space sector in India? The direction it is headed currently.
Yeah, actually, I was going to mention about that. You see, now we have got a big ecosystem about the private space sector, and Somnath, chairman of ISRO, has already announced that he is going to involve in a big way the private sector, even in the development of the launch vehicle, NGLV. You see, NGLV, as I was saying, is going to take little more time because it is going to use green fuel technology or semi-cryogenic technology, which uses methane or refined kerosene as the fuel instead of liquid hydrogen. And that will be a cleaner fuel. And of course, as far as the oxidizer is concerned, they will continue to use liquid oxygen. And it will be 3-stage vehicle, and both semi-cryogenic and cryogenic. So this is a new technology. Second important new technology I want to stress upon it here is, we had to have multiple trips to the space station during its construction and afterwards, for replenishing the supplies, bringing back the trash from that, etc. So we had to make the space access cheaper. How do you make it cheaper? We are trying to develop the reusable launch technology, and that will bring down the cost substantially. And there, the two boosters which are on the side of the core engine, those will be reused. So that is the plan now. And Chairman ISRO has already said that he is going to soon come out with an announcement to involve private sectors. And in space, that is the agency for commercialization of the space projects, they are going to have in-depth discussion with the interested parties, and that is the way they are going to expedite the work for space station, and then it will become at least feasible. Otherwise, as Mr. Jha was saying, it is a really tight time schedule, but with the help of another thing which has happened is American agency's NASA chief administrator Nelson had recently visited India, and he has assured that USA NASA will definitely help building the space station wherever India desires. So Artemis Accord both have signed, and that is going to be important.
Right. Well, we've completely run out of time. I'm going to have to leave it at that. My thanks to all of our guests for joining us. I'll allow Dr. Chakravarti, a quick closing comment on the collaboration between ISRO and NASA and JAXA as well. How do you see that, Dr. Chakravarti? 30 seconds to you.
No, I think this is actually a natural progression of how things are shaping up in the world order. ISRO has now come of age. They are able to prove themselves on interplanetary missions, particularly on the frugality of things, the technology, the depth of technology. They are able to, for example, the AI that was packed in the lunar landing of the Chandrayaan-3.
Okay.
Unprecedented. So these are things that actually make the world marvel at us, and therefore the collaborations will actually be very natural.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.